Welcome back. His presidency is under fire from perhaps every quarter in Washington, D.C., but Donald Trump is off to Saudi Arabia with ambitious plans for an Arab NATO, which could spur billions of dollars in arms sales.
My first foreign trip as President of the United States will be to Saudi Arabia, then Israel, and then to a place that my cardinals love very much, Rome.
U.S. President Donald Trump's first overseas visit this Saturday is full of religious symbolism. Critics say there can be nothing remotely religious, though, about his visit, as it features America's biggest arms package ever. $350 billion for Saudi Arabia, spread over 10 years. Reports say it is the cornerstone of a larger plan to talk to Arab allies and get them to form an alliance dubbed the Arab NATO. The plan for an Arab NATO goes back to 2015. It requires America's Arab allies to contribute troops and money. The Arab NATO will have a NATO-like muscular command structure. It'll be a leading security arbiter in the region.
Saudi Arabia is the custodian of the two holiest sites in Islam, and it is there that we will begin to construct a new foundation of cooperation and support with our Muslim allies to combat extremism, terrorism, and violence, and to embrace a more just and hopeful future for young Muslims in their countries.
If the Trump plan succeeds, it could push him to effect similar changes in the way NATO is funded, thereby pushing responsibility for security to countries in the region, while also ensuring a market for U.S. arms. The Saudi visit could soften Trump's anti-Islam image and physically distance him from controversies over Russia. Of course, his lowest ever approval ratings of 42% are another matter altogether. Bureau Report, WION.
Joining us in the studio is Mahesh Sachdev, former diplomat and an expert on all affairs in the Middle East. Good evening, Mr. Sachdev. The first question, of course, has Donald Trump done a U-turn on America's policy on Saudi Arabia?
It's not America's policy on Saudi Arabia. America's policy on Saudi Arabia has been fairly consistent, but his own proclamations in the past, yes, he's come a long way from telling CNN that Islam hates us, even telling Reuters last month that we're paying hell of a lot of money for Saudi Arabia's defense. Saudis should treat us more fairly. So all that has upended in having this visit, his first foray in diplomacy, first visit to a country where
laden with symbolism. The first is to Saudi Arabia.
Exactly.
And this talk of Arab NATO and Arab NATO, that is the big headline now. What are we talking about here? How feasible is this?
I don't have the details yet. It will be announced in due course, I suppose, with due drama. But I think he's talking about the 34-country coalition that Saudis have put together to fight terrorism. I think it's pretty nebulous at this stage anyway. Let's see what it fleshed out to be. As you know, Pakistan's General Rahil Sharif is heading the coalition.
And how should India see this?
I think decision makers in India would wait for the details, but would have mixed feelings about it.
Right. And the arms package that America is looking at, there is also a lot of talk of private investment in Saudi Arabia. What details do we have? How do we see it? How significant is it?
I think the two sides are trying to reverse the decline in bilateral economic and political contacts. With the United States nearly self-sufficient in hydrocarbons, they don't need Saudi oil, which they used to be the biggest client of. The bilateral trade has fallen. also because low oil prices have inhibited Saudi Arabia. I think they would like to find ways, new areas, new domains, to revive the relationship. As you know, President Trump's slogan has been America first. He wants jobs in America, he wants new factories in America, and so on. And I think Saudi Arabia, which despite huge decline in their reserves, still has over $600 billion in assets to be invested, could be persuaded to plug in. And as you and your readers, your viewers know, Saudi Arabia is the 4th largest defense spender. It outspends India, for example, $67 billion for this year. Last year's it was 87. It has come down, and they have an active coalition in Yemen, which requires sort of replenishable rockets and bombs and intelligence apparatus and so on. So a deal is likely to be announced where American preponderance as the supplier of weapons to Saudi Arabia is re-established. I think in this direction you would have seen that Prince Mohammed bin Salman's visit to prepare for this event last month was geared towards defense cooperation. I should also mention that UAE's Crown Prince has been to United States only last week, and the two countries, UAE and Saudi Arabia, have very close ties. So that also gets factored in. I think it's important to see this visit as not only making a new beginning, but also having its impact. Saudis have left no stone unturned. They have organized not one, not two, but 3 summits in Riyadh in next 2 days. President arrives on 19th, tomorrow, but the talks begin on 20th. And first day is reserved for Saudi-US ties, and the second day on 21st, there's American GCC summit. All 6 member states of GCC are going to be there. Now in the afternoon, perhaps there's another summit to which 34 Muslim countries' head of states might attend.
Right. The timing is very interesting because tomorrow is also the day when Iran votes, and this is a sore point there. So how do we see America-Iran relations vis-a-vis what's happening here?
I think you should begin at the beginning. Only yesterday, United States approved 120-day extension to the lifting of sanctions, which had crippled Iran. And this lifting of these sanctions was part of the nuclear deal.
And this too is a U-turn by Donald Trump.
Yes, I was going to say just that. President Trump had called this a worst deal ever, worst agreement ever made by United States, and yet he has extended it in a low-key manner, State Department announcement and not White House announcement, while 7 people have been barred from United States and having assets in the United States for contributing to Iran's nuclear and missile program. So I think had this agreement not been extended, President Rouhani would have suffered in his prospects, because he has pitched this deal as the
showpiece.
The showpiece of his election campaign, his first term. and it's supposed to bring Iran out from isolation into the big world as accepted, confident country. Now, there is a balancing act going on by United States between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Right now, the scale seems to tilt towards Saudi-led coalition, but the links with Tehran have not been severed.
Okay. There's another interesting dimension. The Israeli daily Haaretz has reported that there could be soon direct flights between Israel and Saudi Arabia. Is this some kind of a revolution in the offing?
Once again, I would like to take you back a little. Only last week, Saudis and the GCC countries proclaimed an offer to Israel to have overflights, consular links, etc., in return for certain concessions to be made by Israel. Now, Israelis were supposed to freeze the settlement program and have certain other concessions made. Israel has not reacted to this, and I questioned the Israeli ambassador only this morning. He parried the question as to what Israel's response is going to be. Perhaps this offer to normalize relations, to have direct flights, to have consular contacts, and to recognize Israel without having normal ties as such, was made on the eve of President Trump's visit to give him a legroom to develop this idea in Tel Aviv and announce it as his own his own offer or his own initiative to bring peace between Israel, Palestine, and Arab world.
Interesting times. We'll track the visit, of course. Thanks very much. That's all we have time for on Gravitas this evening.
Thank you.
Ambassador Sachdev, thank you very much. And we'll wrap this edition. Thanks very much for watching.